Hey, and welcome back to VFX Tutors. As you know, I'm Josh. In this tutorial, we're going to continue with our hard surface and topology tutorial with our flamethrower. You can try and make things more interesting for people. If you can see, I've added some stuff in my background that way to make it look more interesting, and going to add some more exciting editing. So let's see you in the tutorial. Hope you enjoyed that. Pro editing. So previously we went through and we retopologized this piece of geometry. So you may think it's a little bit long-winded for such a simple shape, but don't forget there are also like absolute beginners here as well. So yeah, if it's fairly simple and you can do it, you can still just change the speed to like 1.7 or 2 or turbo it. Anyway, so we got up to that bit. We haven't done these. So entirely up to you how you want to approach this. I'm going to be honest, you will never see it. This is just a bit on the inside which will be lost forever once we put it all together. That being said, I will still kind of make a rough sort of thing for it. You don't have to follow this bit. You can probably just I think you might see it like very slightly, but we're talking like it's going to be in darkness anyway. So I would not worry about it too much. So what I will do is just make not a sphere, a cylinder. But like, that being said, if you're doing a complete break apart of it and showing every little tiny bit, you might actually want to do it. So yeah, there's many options you can do. For this case, I know that I'm not going to do it, so I'm just going to make these bits extremely simple and not really follow the geometry. So you can make a tube if you want. I just use a cylinder because it's just, I can't be bothered to go into the menu or make a, ooh, what am I doing? Make a cylinder. Usually it would have been just as fast, but because I messed around then. And bridge. And it'll either spiral or do good. And it's done good. Cool. So I am going to basically duplicate this. And you know what? For now, I'm not even going to worry about lining them up. I'm just going to keep them straight. Because we can just stick it on a grid warp later. Like I said, it's always easier to sort of model as if everything's square, because you can see that if you model that and that, it's just going to be a bit of a annoying ass, basically. But this really is up to you. There's no one way to do it. You can quad draw the hell out of this if you want. I know that I'm not going to actually show it, so I'm not that bothered. But if you want to show it, feel free to model every little bit. So what you might not have noticed, this is actually like a leather pad in here. So now what I'm doing is just going to make a very simple shape for that curve. Got a funny, oh no. What's happened here? We've still got live mode on, which is not helping because that will still snap, so let's turn that off. So anyway, some things are going a bit funny. So I'm just going to make that basic turn there. See, there are a million ways you can do this. This is not one set way. This is just how I've just funnily, weirdly decided to do it for this piece. Or this moment. I'm not like, I haven't pre-planned any of this, so I'm not making it up as I go along. This is just how I'd work anyway. Like, I've done this for what? I'm going to be honest on this for a very long time, and there are still days where even the simplest things makes me scratch my head quite a lot. So I wouldn't worry about that. And oh, don't want to do that. I'm just going to pull this to there. See, it's kind of feathers out here. How do we want to approach that? Do we want to make more geometry or just make it simple? We can just keep it simple. Because we can just use a grid warp. It's like my favourite tool. Because it's like a uniform soft select. Cool, and you're sort of, let's actually just get rid of all that and see what we got. So we probably could have been a bit smarter about this and got this a bit on a lesser subdivision and, got it perfect, but for this case I'm not really that. We're not going to see it, and I do not want to be spending ages on this. Because a lot of these tasks are actually pretty quick. It's just I'm talking over it. I'm just going to delete all those ones. What I do like to do is actually snap those to there, just to double check that it's actually aligned with that. So I'm just selecting the edge loop, holding V for snap, and just snapping to the vertex here, so I know that's definitely... Like I say, I know there's lots of other clever ways to do it, but I'm not really that bothered. Just going to delete all those inside edges. Oh, we are 6 minutes. Cool. So now I am just going to use... where is it? I can't even see. Target world. And I don't think I joined them together. So make sure you mesh, combine. Kind of, it's not a complex object, let's be honest, but if you're doing a lot, sometimes it might be worth deleting the history, just in case it's not like something insane, but we're talking like nothing here. Sometimes it just does not want a target world. And yeah, I know a lot of people want match move as well. We will do some match move as well because we have to do the camera and object track for this project, so don't worry about that. I'm doing everything as projects now, so cool. So we've got our super awesome, absolute perfect replica of that. So, like I said earlier, I like using delete the history of that, just out of habit. Use a lattice. And you can change the subdivision. Basically, it's like a soft select, but you have choices. So I do actually want just 3 on that one. Cool, so if I right click the lattice point, that means now I can just select these points, scale it, and it kind of does it all uniformly for you, so I kind of like that. I think it kind of does something. Hard to tell because there's a big chunk of world there, which I don't care about, but just for the sake of using quad draw, let's try and... Do you know what? That's actually... Let's actually do this first. Let's do the history. Let's duplicate it before we change it, because we've basically just got like a simple template now that we can use for this one. Ooh. So we've got a basic template that we can use quad draw for that. Otherwise we'll have to undo everything we do with the lattice. Just got 3 on that. 3 on that. Oh. Let's go 3 on that as well. Why not? Let's go wild. Maybe 4 actually. Yeah, so I don't really know what's going in there, but I'm just going to take an educated guess that maybe it's just a piece that's been welded in. But I'm not going to make them weld, so... Ooh. Let's assume it's something like that. We have accidentally selected these somehow. Oops. We did not mean that. Although we have slightly warped them, but I've made a mess. So, let's undo that and just repeat create lattice. I think it's just I didn't have enough on there to stop it breaking the rest. Not perfect. Cool. So now we can actually just select these ones at the bottom. So we'll grab those. I actually can't see what's going on with that scan in the way. That's why I like having everything in layers, because you can just hide stuff without changing any of the selections. Although you can do selection sets and stuff like that, but this is already going overboard for what I would probably ever do for this, so... Cool. So we've got that little horrible bit in. Which kind of doesn't seem like a very well-made weapon. I was pulling that there, but I'm not sure that's too much of an issue. Let's just hide that. Where's our... We'll just use the rest of our lattices to... Like, if it's like too much and you've done your main thing, you can just delete the history and just create another lattice and just keep it simpler. It's kind of what I do a lot. It's kind of like layering soft selects, but you're kind of not saving it. It's very destructive sort of workflow, which is generally not the best, but for this sake, we're not going to see it, so let's not tell anyone. Let's clear history on that, so that's that one done. And you can see it's kind of a bit, it's all wonky, nothing perfect, and you can go in and get it. Oh god, let's just do it. The OCD kicks in sometimes, it's just like, ugh. No, let's not bother, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Excuse me. So what we can do is just do the other side. Ooh. And this one's even worse. So you can go through and do that. Soft select again. Oh, it's not soft select. Deform. Lattice. I think I'd like 4. 4 on that. Quite a lot. Just have to select them all. You can just kind of pick ones that are useful and hope for the best. Not really hope for the best, but most of the time it'll work fine. And we're already going into too much detail for what we need for it, so because I'm really not, you're never going to see it. So you can totally skip this. This is definitely down to whether if you want to go into that sort of level of doing ridiculous detail. Cool, so I'm happy with that. I'm not gonna go crazy, but I will sort of try and, that one's really messed up, right? So and if we hopefully the other bits, like, say, I'm not going to see it. You have to just keep telling yourself you're not going to see it. It's the only way you can get through it sometimes. But then sometimes it's not enough. Yeah, that'll do. I'm not going to go crazy. It's already on too crazy for stuff we're not going to see. And we're 16 minutes on stuff that we're not ever going to see, so it's not good. Cool, so let's I was just about to say that's actually something's going very wrong here, but then I realised it's actually very wonky, so that's the thing. Everything's very wonky. But let's just make sure it works with our actual mesh. I'm not really, at this stage, I'm really not that bothered if it's one-to-one right now. But it does help if it actually looks alright and sort of matches. So, like I say, completely up to you if you want to go to town with this. One other thing that we do have to do is add that middle bit in. So let's not add that. Let's just add a plane. Like saying, I know I keep saying it, but yeah. In fact, let's really not worry about that. Oh, let's do it. Cool. I'm not gonna at all make this any what crazy. And you know what? I probably won't even use this. We're just gonna go as feed the OCD. Cool. Oh, not that one. Let's close that. So let's just tidy up all the inside. Make sure we've got no like bits going out through like that. Let's make sure it's all above board and looking nice. Like I say, you can go into excuse me, a lot of detail with this. But then you can also waste a lot of time. Like, I've not wasted a lot of time on this, but I've wasted time. I know it's not really the best sort of thing to say in a tutorial, but hey, at least I'm honest. And I've not planned it, so you got to give me that. It's hard to do these with no prior planning and just winging it. I haven't got time to schedule rehearsals like a lot of tutorials are, heavily rehearsed. Just remember, like, when you're like watching, like, there are great tutorials out there, but the one thing to keep in mind is they made a hell of a lot of mistakes to get to that point, to record a nice version, I guess. But let's now let's add, because if we smooth this now, it's just going to look nasty. And we could be absolutely brutal on how we do this now, purely because we don't see it. So I'm just going to select all the edges. One thing that I will know, we will need some supporting edges here, so it keeps that curve there. You can see it's kept it nicely now, just adding that. So I'm literally just going to select all these and do a bevel. I know there are other ways you can do this. You can just add more supporting edges. But I think this is not something that I'm going to be waving around, basically. So let's go over bevel and see what that does. So obviously we can add triangles here, but if we add one more segment, that will clean that up nicely, but we need to check where this might break stuff, which looks like it's definitely, we've missed an edge, so make sure you've got all your edges. So even though I thought I got them, I clearly didn't. Just go around, just double check, because there's nothing worse than going through and doing all this, and then weeks later you notice there's like some wacky stuff going on and you've deleted the history and then you have to clean it up. Excuse me. So let's just bring that down. And we can see it's got something pretty good. It's got all the wonkiness, and what I will do is just add a supporting edge here as well. And basically that's like kind of helping with the smoothing, basically. Cool, so I'm pretty happy with that, and we'll just do the other side. Let's put it all on smooth so it all looks smooth and juicy together. I don't know why I said that. I don't even know what smooth and juicy means, but I guess it's late. I'm tired. Alright, now let's do the next one. This beautiful piece of geometry that we've just made. Sorry, I keep having to clear my throat. Okay, my dog going crazy. Make sure you've not selected anything by accident. Make sure we've got all the edges we need. Man, it's been like 24 minutes. I feel like this is a long tutorial for something. Well, let's see that. I'm trying to make them shorter, but it's just impossible. Well, it's not impossible, it's just... It means we have to edit lots. So I'm just going to bevel it and just do that check again, whilst it's all big and obvious. Cool. Happy with that. So I'm just going to go mighty cut. Add those supporting edges down here. Not too bothered about supporting edge here because... Oh, well, let's do it anyway. Come on. Cool. So looking all good. We don't really need to do anything to that because it's done. Cool. So now we've done our piece. And it's not like one-to-one, but we don't see it. I just don't want to... I just want to really iterate the fact that we don't see this piece, and it's... Yeah. So what we will do is actually... Let's combine these. Take history, and we'll call this... Inner. Call this, I don't know, but in rubber. I think it's rubber. We'll worry about that later. So now we've actually done our import inside bit. We'll just group this, and I've hidden it, which I want to do. So we'll just call this but. Yeah, we'll just call it but for now. We'll call it but gr_grp because it's obviously a group, but now we know it's a group of things. Cool, so that's that done. I hope that's been useful for you guys. Feel free to drop stuff in the comments and stuff like that. Every like and all that stuff really does help. I'm actually going to just pull this down a little bit because I've noticed it's a little bit high and it's probably going to come out. It's where we've just not bothered doing the welding stuff, and that's fine. You don't even have to do that. And I probably even wouldn't. I don't even know why I've done it. But yeah. So we've done that. And we're never going to see it. But we might see these bits. Anyway, I'm going on. So if you've enjoyed that, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.